Hello, my lovely viewers. I'm your host, Sally Joyson, and you're watching GalactiCode. Year by year, the rapid development of human beings becomes inevitable. New gadgets, new discoveries, and new inventions have been made. Traveling to the moon, creating nuclear weapons, inventing the internet, discovering quantum mechanics, building the International Space Station, splitting the atom, mapping and exploring the entire planet, discovering the double helix structure of DNA, finding the Higgs boson, also known as the God particle, which plays a vital role in the formation of the universe, etc. Despite the remarkable achievements of humans in historical records, there have always existed scholars who estimated that on our planet years ago lived humans who were like gods and had unimaginable capabilities. Today this is known as the superhuman. There are many theories, myths, and stories of how life might have begun on planet Earth and how our solar system was created. For centuries, different kinds of religious books dominated human perception about the origin of their existence. But with time, humans became curious and hungry to know more, going deeper to find ancient texts, tablets, and scrolls around the world. Surprisingly, they have found a variety of ancient methods on how to gain a better understanding of the human self. Step by step, this wisdom started to spread and finally became accessible to the world. After that, the thought process of the planet started to change. Let me present to you the wonderful Anne, who lived in America for several years and studied a bundle of ancient methods, which she proclaims have absolutely transformed and changed her life. Life coaching, neuro-linguistic programming, foundation of psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy, hypnotherapy, Reiki, and Enneagram. Did I miss something?
Oh, no, nothing. It's hard to believe I actually learned all of those things.
And
Yeah.
thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me. Really,
Can
very
you
excited.
tell us more about you and your studies?
Well, I have an experience of working 10 years in hospitality business and 10 years in defense and security. But my passion was always helping people. And I always wanted to become a life coach, even when this profession was not so popular. After pandemic, I think now it's becoming more and more popular each day. And by the time pandemic started, we were in the United States, me and my family. My spouse was doing his master's degree studies, and we ended up under the lockdown, and I was really struggling to figure out how to utilize this time resources and what could I do during this 15 months. And that's when I embarked on this journey of self-education, and I became a certified life coach.
Out of all the psychological methods you have learned, which one is the most productive and useful nowadays?
Well, it's really hard to distinguish because just like our path to awakening is very unique, all of those modalities are very different but equally potent and powerful. But to me, Enneagram was a true discovery because after getting myself familiarized with this modality, suddenly the world started to make so much more sense. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
So all of them are useful.
Absolutely.
And all of them are productive.
Absolutely. And it depends what we're looking for, depends on the level of our consciousness, our openness and readiness to take actions towards healing and awakening and doing some inner work. So it's very difficult to say which one is particularly effective or not. But for me, Enneagram was really a discovery, and I'm very grateful to the chance that I was able to learn this amazing modality. It's so precise, so accurate. Even CIA uses it to analyze the world leaders' behavior and forecast their future decisions and so on and so forth.
Oh.
So, yes, absolutely.
Makes more sense now.
It does.
Okay.
It does, trust me.
Let's talk about it. What is Enneagram and how does it work?
Enneagram in Greek means nine-pointed graph. Ennea means nine, so it's a circular figure with 9 points, and each represents particular archetype, the psychological type, the personality type. And it works that the Enneagram describes, it's actually the map of human consciousness, and it describes its personalities, best versions and the worst versions, how we are when we are at our best and how we are when we act out of our shadow.
So can you tell us more about when you take this test, what kind of information you need and what kind of information can you get from the test?
Well, I don't really know why we act the way we act or why we are the way we are, why we want what we want. Because we just identify our desires and we say we want something, but we rarely ask ourselves why. What are our unconscious motivations? And believe me, we all have those unconscious hidden motivations that are driving us without us knowing it. So it's empowering in a way that it gives you a chance to actually take more discerning choices and be aware of all the reasons behind your decision making.
Okay, so as I realized, so Enneagram has 9 types,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
Can you tell us more about it?
Sure. These 9 types are number 1, Enneatype 1 is a perfectionist.
Okay.
It's a moral crusader. Enneatype 1 is the most, it has highest moral standards.
Okay.
It always strives towards perfection. Its worldview is that there's so much work to be done in the world, so much things need to be improved, and the reason comes from its very harsh inner critic that anyone has inside. So it has basically its judge, jury, and the police within itself, beating itself up constantly to always be perfect, always keep improving and keep developing. A very good example of this Enneatype would be famous Margaret Thatcher, for example, who was a great change maker and a reformer, former prime minister of the United Kingdom. Another one would be Mahatma Gandhi, for example. We'll remember his famous words, "Be the change you want to see in the world." That's very Enneatype 1 kind of attitude and approach towards life. He wants to embody this change. He wants to be a leading example for the rest of the world. That is a good example. Then comes the Enneagram 2. It's a helper. Helper is a type that is very positive, very cheerful, most loving and caring, always ready to support your cause and your success. They are usually the main support system behind those successful people, like prime ministers and presidents and world leaders and great businessmen and entrepreneurs. And a very good example of this is Mother Teresa, for example, who basically gave up everything to help those children in need. Then comes the Enneagram 3, which is achiever. Achiever is, as the word itself says, is oriented on success. It's very image oriented. Enneatype 3 is driven to climb the top of the social ladder, of the corporate ladder, to be the best, most effective performer in everything it does. The best mom, the best career, and the best achievements here and there, and physically fit and very adaptable. They're they are the most adaptable types. They can be anything to anyone, basically. They are also called chameleons because they can change their image and approach and attitude according to the society's needs. I can be whoever you want me to be. And I also identify myself to the work that I do. So my worldview is that I'm not a human being, I'm more of a human doing. Enneagram type 3 likes to check things off of the list because, it takes great pleasure in achieving all its goals and objectives. Then comes Enneagram 4, which is individualist. Individual is the most romantic type.
Okay.
Yes, very sincere, very emotional, very deep, and a little bit also more mysterious and melancholic, more introverted type. And good examples of this type would be Angelina Jolie, for example, also famous artist Frida Kahlo, or a psychologist Gabor Mate, for example. They have very unique style. How they like to wear scarves. They like to be different. That's their main motivator. They want to be discovered. Unlike Enneagram 3, for example, who is constantly image oriented and they want to show off and show their image to the world. Enneagram 4s really want to be discovered. They don't really like to show off. They're more introverted, more quiet types. Enneagram 5, which is an observer, is very cerebral. They're very mental, very analytical. They are oriented on constant studying and constant researching of the world. They are security oriented. Their belief is that the world is such a dangerous place. So in order for me to create my safety and security, I need to research it. I need to discover how the world works, not based on other people's knowledge, but I have to uncover my own theories to create scientists. Most of the scientists are Enneagram types, like Stephen Hawking, for example, or Bill Gates, or even Elon Musk, or Mike Zuckerberg. They are the types that are oriented on collecting all kinds of knowledge, not because they want to use them actually in practical life, but just to collect those knowledge for the purpose to create their own clarity in life. That's their main motivation. Then comes the Enneagram 6, who is a loyalist. And a loyalist is a type who is very order oriented. They like to look for the authority, to establish order among the society, to follow the rules. Their worldview is that if everybody followed the rules, the world would be such a better place to live. So, that's what they're striving. They're anxious, enthusiastic, very communicative. And they are also security oriented. They're very good crisis managers, for example, because they're constantly looking at the risks and threats, all possible worst case scenarios. They are always prepared for the crisis, all kinds of crises, whatever can go wrong. They have analyzed the scenario and they have prepared themselves for those scenarios.
So they're prepared.
They are the most prepared, and they have also a very good sense of humor. Most stand-up comedians, by the way, are sevens and sixes, and sevens, we will talk about in a minute, are entertainers. So back to the Enneagram 6, they are their most diverse type also among all the 9 other types. They're most diverse. For example, just to give you a very brief example of how different Enneatype 6 can be is, I love this example to say that Adolf Hitler, for example, was an Enneatype 6, and also Princess Diana was an Enneatype 6.
Shadow? I mean,
it's a shadow. It's the case where we deteriorate and we become the worst version of ourselves. Yes. And we missed, I think, the Enneatype 7, who's an entertainer. He's the most enthusiastic, most creative, freedom lover, adventure seeker, personality with a great sense of humor, a very cool type. They were the kids in the school who got to say who's cool, who's not cool, who is, And this is the type, very, very high energy and enthusiastic. They get bored really easily, and they are constantly looking for something new, a new adventure, new job, new project. So they will have a lot of ideas to initiate the project, but they have problem to follow through because they really hate linear, boring, routine jobs. So 7 examples are Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, as I said, most stand-up comedians and most cheerful types. But their shadow side is that they don't like to face their negative emotions. They tend to fall into this escapism, like, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We don't have any problems. There's nothing to worry about. Let's just party and have fun, and all the problems will just disappear themselves.
Life is beautiful.
And, life is beautiful. They teach us about how to enjoy life, about the pleasures of this life, and sometimes this can really become a problem because problems do not always disappear on their own unless we face them and choose to take some action to solve them. And then comes the Enneagram 8, who they are also very, heavy and big and very influential, and they are power oriented. When they enter the room, you will not miss an Enneatype 8. They have this kind of approach that here I come, deal with it. And they're most confrontational as well. They don't have a problem fighting with you. In fact, they feel very comfortable with fighting and with the conflict. And Enneatype 9, we call them salt of the earth because they are peacemakers. They're peacemakers. They're the most peaceful, agreeable, empathetic, understanding types, and they can understand and accept the worldview of all the other types. To the point that sometimes they even forget if they have any opinion or their own worldview or their own approach. So they get so immersed in other people's feelings and other people's needs.
So they live in order to serve.
Absolutely. No, not really serve, but to accept and understand everybody's perspective.
Okay.
That's their thing. And they are also very good mediators. If there are conflicting parties, if there are any fighting parties, they are very good mediators and negotiators as well, because they can see issues and problems from various perspectives.
So, as I realized, we have main types, which is 9 types.
Absolutely,
right?
Yes.
I heard about wings.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Right?
Wings are a very interesting thing, actually.
Okay, can you tell us
it
about
means that each Enneatype has
Okay.
their neighboring Enneatypes.
Okay.
For example, 4th neighbors are 3s and 5s. And we only have one wing. That means that we carry the traits and characteristics of that neighboring type. But we only can have one of those. Either we carry the traits of our neighbor on the left or on the right.
So, does one's personality type change with time, and can you gain or lose Enneagram wings?
No, you can't lose the wing.
No.
You can't change your main dominant
Okay.
one Enneatype. You remain one type for the rest of your life. But what happens is that when we stay under stress for a long period of time, we move to a specific Enneatype. That means that we use the worst traits of that particular Enneatype. And also, when we grow and when we develop and when we shift in our consciousness to a higher level, we also move to another Enneatype. And each type has their own triangles. For example, Enneagram 1, when it's under stress, go to Enneagram 4. But when it's in harmony with itself and it is growing and developing, it goes to the Enneagram 7.
Okay. What about the Myers-Briggs type indicator, as is often brought up in conversations about the Enneagram test? Okay. So, what are your thoughts on MBTI? Are the two tests comparable?
Well, we can't compare them. Basically, they both describe the personality types, but the structure is absolutely different. Myers-Briggs is, first of all, it's based on Carl Jung's archetypes, and it has 16 personality types, and mostly it describes those personalities and gives you information about them as is. about their strengths and weaknesses, about their resources, about their behavioral types, and so on. While any type has 9 personality types and 27 subtypes, and it more is concentrated on the questions like why, the unconscious motivations, because there are those factors that make us choose certain things starting from our childhood traumas. And we don't know what kind of trauma we experienced before we turned the age of 7. We cannot remember those years of our life. And that's why Enneagram, I think, is more precise and accurate, because it gives you what kind of trauma each Enneatype experienced in its childhood and what drives them to respond to the world in a specific way. These are the main differences between. Otherwise, they are both fantastic tools to be used in management, in human resources, and so on.
Oh,
yeah.
So what other methods would you suggest alongside Enneagram that would help us understand our psychology better?
Oh, there are many. I cannot really say one specific. Enneagram is definitely my favorite, but again, other modalities and other methods like holotropic breath work, Hellinger's constellation, systemic constellations, for example. It's a pure magic. I'm not the expert, unfortunately. I cannot really talk more about it, but they're pretty, and we're very lucky
Accurate.
to be, accurate, absolutely accurate. And we are very lucky to be born in this century, because those these knowledge is available to us, while back in the history it was forbidden to common people, like any other wisdom and knowledge that was giving you an opportunity to influence and manipulate human psyche. So we can, if we want, we have everything to heal ourselves and get awakened and get more conscious about ourselves and achieve the emotional freedom and completion and inner integration. So we are less vulnerable, less insecure, more peaceful, and more worthy of love and happy, basically.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was an
pleasure was all
absolute
mine.
pleasure to have you. Before
you.
we sign off, can you tell us more about your future plans?
My future plans is to develop my personal transformation platform, which is a coaching valley, and we will be offering services to people interested in Enneagram, also couples counseling and relationship coaching, working with couples who have problems of various types in their relationships, starting from infidelity, also career counseling for students, for people who have reached so-called glass ceiling and they want to make some changes in their career life and professional life, or who have problem identifying their passion and vocation.
Please find all and social media links in the description box. Remember to like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and share this interview with your friends, as it really helps with engagement. After all, who are we and where do we come from? Are we really discovering something, or there is something inside of us who wants to be discovered? Thanks for watching. I have been your host, Sally Joyson, and this is GalactiCode. Until next time.